Entrepreneurs are the modern day superheroes. Batman doesn't exist, Iron Man doesn't exist, Wonder Woman doesn't exist, but you do exist. We want you to level up yourself, create that vision, that clear mental picture of what you see your role. What's your superhuman role that you're going to play in this world? What impact are you going to have, whether it's just in your small little community, your small little town, or is it going to be in the world? There's a lot of impact that you can have. The power of one person is so much greater than we realize. Hello and welcome to the Superhuman Entrepreneur Podcast. This is part 2 of our interview with Dr. Isaac Jones, and this is where we learn about taking action steps. You just listened to part 1. We dove into a lot of things there with Isaac and learning how to be a superhuman entrepreneur. And our goal with this podcast is that we want it to be all about change. And change doesn't happen if you don't take action. You can't just listen. You need to do that. So we're creating a community of entrepreneurs that want to lift and grow each other. So with every one of these episodes, there's the part 1 with the interview, part 2 with the action steps, the accountability. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Also along with that is our community. So go to superhumanentrepreneur.com and register for our free community. And in there, you'll see the guides, the action steps, the details and the discussion of the interview and accountability for what is happening from this episode. We're there to work together. We're not trying to sell each other on a lot of things. We're just trying to help each other level up. So during the Isaac's interview, he said something that was really important that leads to a lot of action that I want you to be able to take. So he had a great quote in there about what the definition of a vision is. And that's really key for entrepreneurs to be able to have that vision and to know what that vision looks like. And so what it is a vision, what his definition was, is a clear mental picture of what could be that is fueled by the conviction that it should be. And I love that part because not only do we have great ideas and people think crazy things and like, oh, I want to build $1 billion business. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to change the world. But you have to have that conviction inside that it should be. Because what it is, and this was also Isaac's quote, I heard it from him the first time, but entrepreneurs are the modern day superheroes. Batman doesn't exist. Iron Man doesn't exist. Wonder Woman doesn't exist, but you do exist. And so we want you to level up yourself and become, create that vision, that clear mental picture of what you see your role. What's your superhuman role that you're going to play in this world? What impact are you going to have, whether it's just in your small little community, your small little town, or is it going to be in the world? There's a lot of impact that you can have. The power of one person is so much greater than we realize. So your assignment is to take that advice from Isaac and create a clear mental picture. Write it down. Be as detailed as possible. We want to know all these details. What is it that you want to create? And the great thing about this document, which hopefully you're writing it down or typing it up, wherever you're putting it, is that it's a living document. You are never done working on this because as you progress, as you level up, that document's going to change. You're going to have different goals, different areas to focus. And that is how this document is supposed to be. This is what it is. And so really the definition of this is what is your superhuman life? What is that supposed to look like? I want you to add that in, create this whole mental picture. It's not just about business and not just how much money you're going to make, but we want that clear mental picture of what does your superhuman body look like? What's your health look like? What about your fitness? What about your brain function? What is your superhuman brain function? What about your heart health, your digestive system? How is your body supporting you on this superhuman lifestyle that you're trying to build? And then along the way, fit in the business side of things. And probably even more importantly, what does your marriage look like? What does your life look like? Hey, Dr. J here. If you like what you're hearing on this podcast and like the information that we're providing, be sure to subscribe and leave a review and like the podcast because it helps us to be able to expand our reach to find other entrepreneurs. Your support helps us to reach other entrepreneurs and help us to help them truly unlock their superhuman potential and make the world a better place. We want to have all those pieces be there by design, not by accident. And if you are not thinking about these things, not focusing about these things, and letting accident drive where that ends up, that's not going to lead to true feelings of success. So we need to make sure you incorporate all parts of you. And so spend time doing this. Spend time working on this over, today, over the next few days, over the next few weeks. Like I said, this is a living document that you should be creating. And you can share it in the Superhuman Entrepreneur community. You can share parts of it in the community. We'll help hold you accountable. We'll cheer you on. No one's going to criticize you for having a big vision. That's what us entrepreneurs are. We're big visionaries. And so we're there to support. If anyone's not supporting and offering negative comments, we will kick them out of the community because we are here to help you and help you to achieve these visions. And so one of the things that Isaac talked about that was so important is he talked about the freedom that he's been able to create. And that fits into this vision as well. So where is that freedom fitting in? What does that freedom look like with work? Are you working 80 hours a week, 100 hours a week, or are you working 30 hours a week? Are you traveling the world? Are you spending time with your spouse, with your kids, with your friends? That's so important. Also, what type of marriage do you have? What type of sex life do you have? How are you showing up as a husband or a wife? How are you showing up as a parent? That's so key to be able to include in this document. And ultimately, too, a big question is, what impact are you having now, and what legacy are you leaving? Because that's going to be the key of adding all those parts into creating this vision for your life and vision for your future. And after you've written down, I want you to read through it, and I want you to think about how you feel about this. Because do you have the conviction that what you wrote down on that paper or wrote down on that note on your phone or wherever you're recording it, do you have the conviction that that is what it should be? This is really important, because if that doesn't excite you, if that doesn't inspire you, then you need to think bigger. You need to do more. And so it's really, really key that you write it down, have it recorded somewhere where you can read it and you can think about how you feel about that and see, is that conviction there? Do you have that conviction that is that vision should be? Because if you do, then we have something we can work with. If that conviction isn't there, if you're like, oh yeah, that sounds pretty good, but it doesn't excite you, we need to take bigger steps. We need to figure out more. Because like I said, this is a living, breathing vision and document, and it should change over time because you're changing and you're leveling up. So this is something where Isaac also said that was so interesting. And we definitely talked about it more over time. He dove in and he had a few little health topics that I started talking about. And some of you might have been like, what is he going on? What are these words that are saying? I don't even know. Don't worry. We will be covering those over time in this podcast. But he talked about your brain is like a pharmacy or an apothecary. If you remember here, he said that. And so what happens is when you have that conviction, when you have that thought and that focus and you're connecting the emotions to the vision, your brain literally creates chemicals to be able to make that happen based off of the thoughts that you think. And your brain starts changing because of those messages. And so that once you have that vision dialed in and you are excited about that and you want to get up and build that every day, then I want you to read that every day. Because as you read that, as you start thinking about that and realizing what that vision was, then that's going to start changing your brain. It's going to start changing your body based on those thoughts that are connected with that vision. And ultimately, it'll help that vision come to pass sooner and in ways that you didn't even know was possible. Final thoughts. We talked about a lot of other things during Isaac's podcast interview. I love Isaac. He has so many great thoughts and ideas. But we talked about there was the 3 traps that stop entrepreneurs from being successful and becoming superhuman. So his 3 were: 1 was lack of awareness about food. That's definitely going to be a major topic that we talk about over time here in the Superhuman Entrepreneur Podcast. 2 was the lack of awareness about movement. He threw in that super amazing idea of exercise snacks. 5 to 10 minute little exercises that spread throughout the day are so much more beneficial than an hour-long running session or different things. So be aware of movement and what's going on and moving your body. And 3 was lack of awareness about sleep. So important. Sleep is the time that we recharge. We all get frustrated when our phone battery dies. If we're not treating our bodies the same way, and making sure that we get enough sleep, that same thing is happening to us in our bodies. Why are we so frustrated with our phone when it dies? And we're frustrated with ourselves with energy, and we just go and pound energy drinks or pound coffee, and it just doesn't really help. And there were 2 extra bonus traps in there that came up. The first one was the lack of awareness about the impact that alcohol is having in your life. I see this time and time again. I cannot tell you how many stories that I have with working with entrepreneurs in depth and knowing about their health and helping them level up. The ones that quit drinking alcohol never have said that they regret that. It's one of the biggest factors. And I'm not saying that you have to quit everything alcohol-wise, but no one has ever said that they regret it when they do that. And it wants to be super, 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 super limited. Alcohol is slowing you down. It's affecting your health for the next 3 days, the next week. It's affecting your hormones. It's affecting your sleep. It's affecting your performance. just from one little drink of alcohol is affecting your whole rest of your week and weekend. So don't, work really hard all week, and the weekends you enjoy yourself, you relax a little bit, drinking in moderation is actually not okay. And then they're wondering why on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday it takes them another, half a week to kind of get in the flow of things, and they're performing at less. So that's really key. We'll definitely talk more about that because I think it's such a big factor in our world today about the evil designs that exist out there from people trying to make money that are impacting and preventing you from making money and impacting your life and your health and your marriage and your parenting skills, all because of this liquid that has some extra things in there that we don't necessarily, that are really harmful for our body. And the second bonus was the lack of awareness about what your body is telling you. So your body is designed to tell you when things aren't working right. That's why you have low energy. That's why you get achy joints. That's why all these things are there, because your body's trying to tell you what's going on. So you need to be listening to your body and figuring out what is your body telling you. And then once you have that figured out, then you can work to address the problem. And so that's the key there. So the three tips that he gave you plus the extra bonus ones are huge. And as you do that, and as you implement those things, our number one goal with what we're talking about today is working on that vision and that picture of that vision. What is that? It needs to be something that excites you and that you can build that conviction inside that's going to work for you. So if you haven't already, get onto our website, superhumanentrepreneur.com, join our community, and go into the post. Isaac's post there that has his podcast there, and the second part 2, and then those action steps, and share your thoughts, have a discussion in there, be accountable, show up there and post. And me and my team will be keeping an eye on there and help you with it, whatever questions you have, and to support you along the way and help you to work to create that vision, because you need to remember you are a superhuman entrepreneur. You enjoying the podcast? Help us reach more entrepreneurs like you by leaving a review. As a thank you, everyone who leaves a 5-star review will be entered into a drawing for some exciting prizes. We are here to help you more than just listen. Head over to superhumanentrepreneur.com, click on community, and join a powerful network of entrepreneurs that are striving to be their best. Each episode includes action steps, resources, and accountability to help you to implement these ideas and start seeing results.